the next generation of wireless connectivity, a fifth generation, or 5G.
The promise is to connect nearly every aspect of our lives over an incredibly fast, reliable wireless network. And companies are spending billions to make sure they aren't left behind. But what is 5G?
5G, of course, it's the next generation of mobile technology, and particularly that's going to be very, very important for enabling new use cases for this technology, particularly in things like connected cars or on our various Internet of Things applications.
Autonomous vehicles will be controlled in the cloud. Smart city energy grids, transportation networks, and water systems will be controlled in the cloud. Immersive education and entertainment will come from the cloud.
5G is already here, and it's only expanding. So what is it? Where will it go from here? And is it dangerous?
It is the capacity to use this new capability that will determine what our future looks like. Yes, 5G will connect the Internet of everything. If something can be connected, it will be connected in a 5G world. But with the predictions of hundreds of billions of microchips connected in products from pill bottles to plant waterers, you can be sure of only one thing. The biggest Internet of Things application has yet to be imagined.
So what is the Internet of Things? Essentially, it's massive amounts of data being analyzed at once from numerous devices that interact in real time through cloud computing.
The data that's going to be generated need to be stored and manipulated by AI. I would think that cloud computing will become even more important.
Well, and because the network is so responsive, the cloud can be out closer to the edge of the network, which makes it even more responsive. So today's network, not to get too technical, takes about 200 milliseconds to go out, gather some information, and come back. That should be under a millisecond. So for the viewers, that's less than you can blink your eye.
The ability to use this high-frequency spectrum opens much bigger chunks of spectrum. Current blocks of licensed low-band spectrum are usually 5 to 10 megahertz in width. With 5G, however, we're talking about blocks of spectrum that are at least 200 megahertz in width.
Now, aside from that, the technology uses beamforming, which is more concentrated, and many have argued poses a significant health risk.
With this exponential rise in microwave radiation can have effects, and that's what scientists and medical doctors around the world are now saying. If you simply Google EMF research, this is a screenshot of what you'll find. The World Health Organization is the first link there, and they actually in 2011 came out and said this wireless technology is possibly carcinogenic. Now there's scientists around the world that say that it's most likely carcinogenic. This is a study by Dr. Henry Lai. He looked at 326 studies based on the biological effects of cell phone radiation. He found that about half of the studies showed effects and half didn't. That's pretty normal for this type of research. But what he found that was interesting was that if you looked at who funded the studies, 70% of the independent studies showed effects, and only 32% of the industry-funded studies showed effects.
New studies have also suggested 5G can penetrate human sweat glands. And The Nation recently published a scathing piece entitled, "How Big Wireless Made Us Think That Cell Phones Are Safe, a Special Investigation." It takes direct aim at former FCC Chair Tom Wheeler. Even Wheeler himself admits they didn't waste time testing the technology.
Unlike some countries, we do not believe that we should spend the next couple of years studying what 5G should be or how it should operate and how to allocate spectrum.
And they have been deploying 5G without citizens' knowledge or permission.
24 cell phone repeaters installed in front of their homes. It was done legally, but residents say they were never told that it was happening. CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff reports now from Woodbury.
I could not believe this was actually happening. I said, how could the town permit this? How could they do this to us?
She and Woodbury neighbors fuming over the placement of 22 cell repeaters for Verizon in front of homes on what's technically public property without notice or compensation.
You couldn't give me $10 million for this, okay? There are potential health risks to these. They are aesthetically not pleasing. There's also the devaluation of our home properties.
5G technology promises faster service, but the jury is out on constant exposure to its radio frequency radiation.
Outside of the instantaneous track, trace, and database society this will create through its mass consumption,
The main value of 5G, by orders of magnitude, will be in consumption rather than production.
there is the possibility that this technology could be weaponized in unforeseen ways due to its concentration and reach.
Sharing is essential for the future of spectrum utilization. Many of the high-frequency bands that we will make available for 5G currently have some satellite users, as well as some Defense Department applications, or at least the possibility of future satellite and defense users. New platforms, systems, software, and technologies will mean new vulnerabilities. Cybersecurity issues must be addressed during the design phase of the entire 5G ecosystem, including devices.
So we know that defense systems have been integrated into 5G already. But with people like Ross Aday demonstrating how similar wavelengths could seriously influence human behavior back in the 1970s, we should definitely be looking at this technology with a skeptical eye.